All right, let's get this going. What are we learning today?
Tonight we are doing a little tragedy.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Why are you picking sad stuff?
Pick fun stuff, dude.
I don't want to be upset. Am I going to be upset?
it's interesting. I thought it was
That was an awkwardly long pause.
no, because it's a tragedy. It's going to be an interesting episode.
Okay, well.
On this episode of I'm Not Dumb But, how did one of the world's most sophisticated yachts sink within minutes of a storm? Could this tragedy have been avoided? Who's at fault? As investigators continue to unravel what went wrong, join us as we uncover the tragedy of the Bayesian superyacht. Welcome
To the I'm Not Dumb But
Podcast,
where we won't claim to have the answers to life's deepest questions,
but we'll give you an exciting journey
into the realms of knowledge
you never knew you needed.
might be mainstream.
But not common knowledge. From artificial intelligence to conspiracy theories, no topic is too taboo for us to explore. Let's get curious together. I'm your host, Caesar, joined always by Chris,
Yup.
Rob,
Hello.
and Victor.
How y'all doing?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
Sir, permission to come aboard the Bayesian.
Am I the skipper on this one?
Yeah, you're the skipper. You're our captain.
Well, then, no, you're not. No,
Oh.
permission denied.
Captain, oh captain.
What is poetry?
So did you guys hear about this incident that occurred a while ago?
A yacht
Not
sinking?
at all.
Yeah, yacht sinking.
Never heard of it.
No?
Mm-mm.
Perfect.
No,
There's
nothing.
only one person I know with a yacht, and his name is Bezos.
So let me tell you guys what happened. In August 2024, tragedy struck off the coast of Sicily when the luxury superyacht Bayesian sank during a sudden and violent storm. The yacht, known for its opulence and owned by British tech mogul Mike Lynch, was hosting high-profile guests. Instead of a celebration, it became the site of a devastating disaster, resulting in the loss of 7 lives, including Lynch and his daughter. You guys did not hear about this?
I don't even know who that
this.
person is.
Yeah.
Who is this British tech tycoon Mike Lynch?
Who the hell is that?
I only heard about it, like, there was one random was it TikTok or YouTube, where they were kind of like talking about it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And then as you kind of read into the details about it, you're like, oh, it's sad, but it's interesting.
Is this an inside job? Like, is that what we think?
No.
Okay, this is just a regular boat crash.
Let me tell you guys what happened. So on the night of August 19th, 2024, the Bayesian superyacht, 85-foot long luxury vessel, encountered a violent and sudden storm off the coast of Sicily.
How long is 85? How many bananas is that?
It's a lot of bananas, man.
I need some sort of reference to how long 85 feet.
0.02 kilometers.
Oh, thank you. That was super fucking helpful. I feel like I know better.
Now you know exactly.
Yeah. Is it like 3 cars put together, 4 SUVs, 5 Honda Odysseys?
It's like 7 Toyota Yaris's.
It's around 6 Toyota Yaris's.
6 Toyota Yaris's and about a little over 3 Apex Stegosaurus. I mean, that's a big ass yacht.
That's a big ass yacht.
The Toyota Yaris comes in a range of 8 colors.
So the yacht was anchored when the storm, described as a possible localized wind downburst, hit it without warning, triggering a catastrophic sequence of events. And a downburst occurs when air plummets downward from the base of a cloud. It kind of often happens during a downpour of rain or like thunderstorms. And this produces a powerful wind gust that blows towards the ground.
I've seen twisters, so I'm pretty much a weather expert. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Hold on. I was going somewhere with that. There's a downpour and then there's something else. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, a water spout. A water spout.
Yeah.
Wait, so it's the downburst, then a water spout?
It's a water spout, which is kind of like a twister on water, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a downburst, which is like different.
Oh.
Air just comes down, hits the water, and then wind just goes in every direction.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
And you can get winds up to 100 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. It's a little chop.
You don't know shit about chop.
They're fairly short-lived, and they typically last about a matter of minutes. They know about it, but they can't really like study them that well. They can't really record them. It's so fast.
Mm-hmm.
As the storm intensified, the yacht began to take water and started to sink rapidly. Panic ensued amongst 22 people that were on board, Despite the desperate efforts by passengers and crew, the sinking lasted a couple of minutes. This resulted in the Italian Coast Guard responding quickly and rescuing 15 of the survivors, including Lynch's wife.
So where were they headed?
They were anchored. They were anchored off the coast of Sicily, yeah.
So they're anchored off the coast of Sicily. They're hanging out. They're having some wine, cheese.
This occurred at 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden.
Oh, so they were sleeping.
They were sleeping.
Wow. So they weren't even moving.
They were anchored,
Oh, my God. That's scary.
Now, how did it sink? Like, are we talking like Titanic snapping in half or flipping over?
So the investigations are ongoing, right? Because they don't know.
Oh.
It's been documented that it sank in a couple of minutes. Whenever the event occurred to when they released the flare, it took about 16 minutes.
Damn.
Was the bilge pump working? I feel like the bilge pump would have something to do with it.
You always got to check your bilge pump.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you.
What's a bilge pump?
It's the pump for the bilge.
When was the last time you went sailing?
I don't got a boat guy.
The bilge is the area on the outer surface of the ship's hull where the bottom curves to meet the vertical sides.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps you at all. For starters, a small amount of water in the bilge is not a huge concern, but a more significant amount of water needs to be addressed. So you can't have too much water in your bilge. Therefore, a bilge pump would pump out the water.
There's no certainty about what happened, but the answer lies probably with a combination of factors that include this extraordinary weather event with some of the features that the yacht had. It had an extraordinary mast, a lifting keel.
Sounds like me in my 20s.
Watch out for this guy. He's a troublemaker.
So, do we think that this was an actual storm, or do we think there was foul play?
I think this is an actual storm. One of the questions that arose was like, why did they remain anchored just offshore when they knew there was bad weather? So it was forecasted that there was a storm coming. The issue was that no one knew how bad it was, which is what kind of took these guys off guard.
Yeah, like what is the protocol? Bad weather's coming. Hey, let's go closer to land. Let's get out of here.
For, I guess, this yacht of this size, you have to do a couple of things. You have to try to close off all areas where water can leak in. The lifting keel has to be properly in place.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
The keel is the very bottom part of your sailboat. It keeps your boat from capsizing. Choosing the right kind of keel is very important. Racers and open-sea cruisers must have the deepest keels for more stability on the rough water and into the strong wind.
They don't know, but they might think that it was partially raised. And this is partly because once the yacht went down, divers started looking for survivors. With every dive, they came back up and they started noticing the lifting keel was actually partly raised.
How deep was the water?
The boat is, I think, 150 feet in the water. So I'm assuming...
So 150 feet
Yeah.
deep. Because if it sank, I'm assuming it's at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's not just halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like they should have.
Maybe it's proper protocol. You're not a boat guy. Maybe
I'm not
it's
a
like,
boat guy, but listen, what I know about boats, I know from Jay-Z.
What did he say?
He says, I'm dodging raindrops, meaning I'm on vacay, chilling on a big yacht. So someone like that, he's constantly moving around. He's checking weather patterns.
It's true.
He's never in the same spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sounds like a bird.
So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they should have listened to Jay. Some boat advice right there for you.
They're trying to figure out whether the crew took the necessary measures, given that the forecast called for bad weather and a storm overnight. One expert said, a focus on the investigation should be whether the yacht's crew had closed access hatches in the vessel before the storm struck. These are some of the questions that, as the investigation continues to go, they're trying to answer.
Does yachts have black box?
This specific one, because of its, I guess, a form, whatever the terminology is, no.
Of course.
Yeah, you can get it if you want as the owner, which was a question that the investigators asked, and they found out, no, this wasn't it. I think this cost like 45 million. I would have put one on.
Just throw an extra, throw a black box in there.
It's like, give me the updated sound system, the Bose, and then a black box.
Right.
And the GPS.
How much could it be?
Comes with 6 months free Sirius XM radio, and you might even be able to get the weather with that one.
Standard on all super yachts.
Fully loaded, I think is the term.
All right, so there might have been an issue with the hatches.
Yeah. A lot of these questions are what investigators are trying to figure out because, like I mentioned, these things don't happen. And the forecast called for a storm, but this was the only boat that sank that night. Amongst other boats that were
in the area,
in the same area. Yeah.
So it's not really the storm because it's like those other boats got the storm thing, but they're like, yeah, we'll be fine. We're anchored.
It seems like this would be the perfect time to take down a boat.
Coincidence?
Well, the thing is, it would be the perfect time to take down a boat if you knew when it was coming. These things are random.
They said they knew the weather was bad, though.
They just didn't know how bad it was because from all other indication, all the other boats around it, even the fishermen from the town, were also like, we were going to sail out and do some fishing, but things got choppy and we're like, nah, we'll sit this one out. The storm comes, has excessive winds, but as the winds are hitting it, hits the mast, one of the tallest ones in the world, the boat starts to rock from side to side.
It's a sailboat?
It's a sail, yacht, yeah.
Oh. I thought it was like a yacht, not a sailboat.
No, it's a sail one.
Wait, it's a sailboat? I thought it was
right? You made it sound like it was a fucking yacht.
It's a super yacht.
That's what it's called.
Bezos has a swimming pool and a helicopter attached to his.
Yeah, does this I can't. It has a
It only fits
fucking
22
mast.
people. It's not going to be that big.
Oh, wow. It does have a huge mast.
You're still talking about the boat, right?
I was talking about Mike, but the boat's also got a
Johnson.
Pretty big.
So at this point, the yacht's getting hit by winds, starts to oscillate back and forth. The mast breaks. It tips over, goes to...
We got a storm coming, John. We got a storm coming.
Shut the fuck up and get back down.
Did somebody close the hatches? Did somebody close the hatches?
We're fine. We're fine out here.
I've been doing this for 50 years.
I'm a seasoned captain, damn it.
All right. From all the information that I'm gathering, I think that's what has happened. Okay. It got to a certain point close to the water on one side. Then water started leaking in, flooding through, and sank the whole thing. That's what I'm thinking happened. Prosecutors are probing the shipwreck have placed 3 crew members under investigation. The captain, James Cutfield, the British ship engineer, Tim Parker, and a sailor called Matthew Griffith, who was on watch duty on the night the Bayesian sank. Now, James Cutfield, the captain, was a primary person of interest in the investigation to determine whether the crimes of culpable shipwreck and manslaughter may have been committed. So a little bit about the captain. The captain is a 51-year-old from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
He's a Kiwi.
I'm from New Zealand.
He initially spoke about the tragedy from his hospital bed in Palermo, telling an Italian newspaper, "We didn't see it coming."
But say that with a New Zealand accent.
We didn't see it coming.
I don't know.
Sounds Jamaican.
That's Jamaican.
That sounds a little Jamaican.
I like it.
Well, it's a New Zealand guy who was originally born in the islands.
He had a beef patty and was like...
he stopped by a Golden Cross on the way over.
That's a Jamaican accent.
So from any indication, this guy was a very good sailor, very, very well respected. He was a former competitive sailor. He has 8 years of experience captaining luxury yachts and has worked in the industry for 3 decades.
Wow.
He's a seasoned sailor. If the captain was good, what could have happened? What was the crew doing? What actions did they take or did not take that led to this to the sinking? So who was on the yacht? Well, the yacht was owned by Mike Lynch. He was known once as Britain's Bill Gates, and he was joined by his close friends and family celebrating his recent acquittal in a criminal case in the United States. Mike Lynch was a pivotal figure in the world of technology, and as the founder of Autonomy, one of the UK's most successful software companies, Lynch played a significant role in shaping enterprise search and data analytics software. So maybe that's where the Bayesian name came from.
Bayesian statistics came from.
Bayesian statistics, yes. I know all about statistics and Bayesians.
Now, I've never heard of that. And I took statistics like 3 times.
I've never heard of it either.
I'm going to
I know loops.
Did you go to a state school?
All of them, yeah. All of them were state school.
Oh, okay.
That's your problem right there.
Lack of education.
Lynch's company, Autonomy, He founded it in 1996, and then it sold to HP 15 years later for $11 billion.
What a cash cow.
Nice. Good job.
But in 2012, HP said it discovered a massive accounting scandal. Lynch denied the charges, triggering 12 years of legal battles. After the 12 years of legal battle, he was acquitted. He's on the yacht with his friends, with his family, enjoying his freedom.
Yeah.
And then tragedy hits, right? So I mentioned earlier, 15 out of the 22 people on board were rescued from the boat. 9 of them were crew members, and 6 of them were guests. 7 guests died that day, and all the crew members survived.
Terrible.
I had a question. I was like, I thought that was interesting. I was like, all but 1 crew member survived and 7 of the guests. I thought that was strange. Thought that was odd.
Couldn't it have something to do with where their rooms are?
Yeah.
Could be.
Eventually what happened was most of those crew members survived because they were already up on deck, aware and awake.
Interesting.
Oh.
Remember, this happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of the passengers are sleeping.
Should we wake the owner?
Nah, he's good.
It'll blow by. The storm's gonna go by.
Think about it. If you're a ship captain, you think you've done this 100 times, right? Which is probably a mistake. And the investigators are going to have to go through that and make sure, like, was this proper protocol? Because things have been done different. So, yeah. And the investigators started interviewing them. And especially, they wanted to interview the one sailor who was on night watch. And this is one thing that I like, oh man, I was like, I feel kind of bad. Because according to multiple Italian news outlets, right, the sailor, Matthew Griffith, who was, I think, 22 or 23, was on watch duty at the time. He said, I woke up the captain when the wind was at 20 knots or 23 miles an hour. He gave the order to wake everyone else up. So I'm assuming when he mentioned wake everyone up, he mentioned the rest of the crew. Then Griffith. Then I put away the cushions and plants. So at this point, maybe they're thinking that the storm isn't that serious. Because if it was, you would not care about plants or cushions.
Well, it sounds like a standard protocol in case of a storm. Start putting away furniture that you might lose in a storm.
Yeah,
like loose furniture.
Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming if they think the storm was as bad as it actually turned out to be, I don't think they'll be worried about that. You know, I think it's protocol, but I get what you're saying.
Well, it's just like he thought, okay, storm's coming. Let me put away all the loose things that might fly off the boat.
Yeah, anything that might come off. Yeah,
right. So. Did the captain say anything like, hey, where's the rest of the fucking people on this boat?
So this is what I think happened. He was on duty. The rest of the crew was sleeping. He was the only one. When he realized that the winds were picking up, he called down to the captain, said, hey, man, the winds are picking up. What do you want me to do? Captain woke up and said, go wake up the rest of the crew. I don't know what else was exchanged because, like I said, I don't think maybe they'll know after interviewing more people. But I'm assuming the captain maybe said, okay, go wake up the rest of the crew and go start preparing things. Protocol. And then he said, Griffith, he said that I closed the glass windows of the lounge at the bow as well as the hatches. The investigators are trying to figure out where their hatches, where their openings, they may have had water rush in. So this guy's saying that no, he closed some of them. So we're going to have to take it at his word, right?
Well, I mean, you can go look with the boat if they're still closed or not. I mean, the divers could see it. They could just go down there and be like, yo, these aren't closed.
Actually, they're thinking about raising the boat. And I think first it's full of fuel. So they got to figure that out. Then after they figure out the fuel, they can raise it up. And I think it's going to cost them about $15 million. But $15 million to, get all the answers, I think it's nothing, right? So this is still Griffith, the sailor. Sometimes later, it's not really clear. He said, the ship tilted and we were thrown into the water. Then we managed to get back up and swim up and try to rescue those we could, he added. We were walking on the walls of the boat. We saved who we could, and Cutfield, the captain, also saved a little girl and her mother, he said, referring to another passenger and her baby that was on board.
That's got to be hard, though, because imagine, okay, you're in a storm. It's fucking
pitch
waves
black.
Are going everywhere.
Well,
pitch black. It's 3 a.m.
Generators, I'm assuming right now the generators are still on for the boat.
Yeah,
right?
but
so
still, though, that's a little bit of light. It's not like a clear night out where like the moonlight is also shining. It's overcast. And who knows the visibility? It's probably low because it's raining, right? It's
100-mile-an-hour wind at you.
100 miles an hour winds. There's fucking waves hitting you, and you fucking swam back to the boat. Like, damn.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
That's pretty crazy.
It's crazy, right?
That is pretty wild.
I was like,
That's
this
crazy.
is a 22-year-old at 3 o'clock in the morning and a crazy ass storm. And literally he was like, we're walking on the walls of the boat. So this thing is already tipped over.
Right.
The mast is close to the water. And I'm assuming that's when the water started creeping into the boat, or just started rushing into the boat, which led even more to sinking.
That poor kid, he probably joined up. He watched a lot of episodes of Below Deck.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, I want to work on these private fucking yachts. And now he has to deal with this shit.
Yeah. He mentioned that the captain saved the little girl and her mother. Well, this was another testimony that was from one of the survivors. So among the 15 who survived included a 1-year-old British baby called Sophia, who was kept afloat by her mother. Her name was Charlotte Galinsky. And this is what Charlotte said. She said that they were woken up by thunder, lightning, and waves that made our boat dance. And it felt like the end of the world before we were thrown into the water. For 2 seconds, I lost my daughter in the sea, then quickly hugged her amid the fury of the waves. I held her afloat with all my strength, my arms stretched upwards to keep her from drowning. It was all dark. In the water, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I screamed for help, but all I could hear were the screams of others around me.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, so no mention of the captain. Where's the captain in all this?
She didn't mention the captain. I think the other guy.
That's weird.
Well,
that's not weird?
Well, yeah, she was probably too traumatized.
And then she got saved shortly after that.
Or she didn't know who actually saved her. Someone just grabbed her and put her on a lifeboat.
Well, here's a question. Who put out the Mayday call?
Did not say.
Right? Because how would the Coast Guard know that people are in trouble?
It took about 16 minutes for them to set up a flare.
Oh, so they sent a flare.
Apparently there's a procedure where you have to like blow out horns and say emergency all throughout the yacht. We don't know if that happened.
It's maritime code.
Yeah, right.
I just made that up. I have no idea.
It's probably true.
There's a code to the sea.
Yeah, I'm assuming that on the life raft, that's when they shut up the flare.
So all these guys, the boat flips, they throw out a life raft, they save who they could, and then they start pulling people out of the water?
Yeah, and I'm assuming they didn't follow any the proper protocols because this shit happened so fast. There was a separate yacht that was close by, and the captain of the yacht went out and actually tried to help. Some of the people, they actually took the people on the life raft onto his yacht, and then he called the Coast Guard.
Oh, okay.
One of the craziest things was that they located 5 of the bodies in one of the unused cabins. And after the autopsies were done, it was found out that they all died of asphyxiation.
That's a tough way to go.
Yeah, is that they tried to find an air pocket. Lynch's daughter and the chef were in two isolated parts of the yacht, and information is still pending on them.
I think there was an incident, it was like a few years ago, or maybe more, in Korea. There was students were on the ferry. But I don't know exactly what happened.
Okay.
But the boat was sinking, but the captain or the authorities were like told all the students. There was about like 40 to 50 like high school students. They're on a field trip or something, and then the boat was sinking, but they didn't know what to do, so they told the students to stay at like a lower deck.
Oh my god!
And then boat ended up going down, and they all went down with it because they're all.
But didn't the captain? He survived.
Yeah, survived. He's the one. Yeah.
Right. You remember that? Because everyone was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, that was
crazy. Was the ship designed properly? Are people looking into that?
Yeah, it was one of, I think Perini something is a ship maker. I tried to see if they had any issues. I couldn't find anything. Someone in my research is mentioning like those doors that the glass doors that he had to close. I can't really corroborate this, but said that those are faulty. I think that show Below Deck had an episode where some doors like that actually were faulty on an episode.
Have you watched Below Deck?
I see it and I'm like, okay, I'm moving.
Okay. I've never seen it, is why I ask.
Yeah. It's just, it literally 5 of them just talking and you're like, what is going on? I don't stay for too long. I just like, what? Okay. And they're just talking nonsense. So I'm like, all right.
Get your bags, get them packed. Let's go.
So I mentioned that Mike Lynch, right, was celebrating a recent court victory.
Yeah, what was he charged with?
So this is what happened, right? So I mentioned that he created and started this company in 1999 called Autonomy.
What did Autonomy do?
It was a software that helps firms store and search unstructured data, such as voicemails and email.
Cool.
So this company, after acquiring other companies, allowed you to kind of like better access your data, even data that are unrelated or are not, close together. So that was what Autonomy did. HP bought him out. They bought him in 2011. And within a year, HP had to write down the value of Autonomy by $8.8 billion because they said that there was a lot of inaccuracies in the accounting. So they wanted to sue for their money for about $4 billion in charges that they claimed. And Mike Lynch was like, no, we didn't do anything. We did not falsely boost the company through like accounting magics or accounting wizardry. And it was a civil case and a criminal case. So the civil case, HP actually won, saying that the U.S. firm was actually duped into paying $8.2 billion more for what the software company was actually worth.
Oh, wow.
Civil case. But Mike Lynch was extradited to the U.S. and had to go through a criminal case, and that he was acquitted of. And that's what they were celebrating in the yacht.
Nice.
This is where things get a little funny.
Like shady funny? What's funny?
There is a conspiracy theory that people are trying to throw out there.
This is where it gets fun.
Let's put on our tinfoil hats here.
I don't agree with it, but you decide. So the CFO of Autonomy, he actually went to jail. I think he's serving a couple of years for fraud. Mike Lynch, at the time, president CEO, didn't get anything, right? Walked away scot-free. They're having fun. Mike Lynch invites everybody to the yacht. And unfortunately, these are the individuals that die. Jonathan Bloomer, he was chairman of Morgan Stanley International, but he was also a chairman of the Autonomy Corporation. Also, Christopher J. Moravello. He was a partner at Clifford Chance, a law firm, who was Mike Lynch's lawyer.
Yeah, but he just helped them. I would invite him to my thing, too, if he just helped me.
Exactly. But those are the people that passed away. A couple of days earlier, a guy named Stephen Chamberlain, who was an Autonomy executive, and Lynch's co-defendant on the case, died while jogging in England.
Died how? A sporadic storm?
No, it was he got hit by a car.
Was it a white squall?
He got hit by a car when he was jogging.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. In a span of a week, this shittiest and most unfortunate timing that after 12-year legal battle, some of the individuals who were found not guilty all met their tragic demise.
Yeah, it sounds very fishy. It's either an inside job or just karma.
It's karma. I hear she's a bitch.
But it's terrible because other people, innocent people, were involved.
Which is what I'm saying. I think the internet just does what the internet does. And they just dotted dots that were out there. And I think this was a tragedy.
It's a series of unfortunate events.
Unfortunate events.
Yeah. It's a lemony snicket indeed.
Yeah. So that was a look at the Beijing superyacht tragedy. Chris, what do you think, man?
It does sound a little fishy to me, but at the same time, it's unfortunate that for like people, like the whole family died.
Yeah,
except the wife. His wife was one of the survivors.
Like, I'm kind of curious now to see how for the investigation. I'm definitely gonna follow up and see what happened.
What do you think, Rob?
I have not heard of this story. I'm definitely gonna follow it. You definitely put it on the map here. I'm curious to see what the investigation finds after they look into it, but yeah, terrible tragedy. Very interesting about what's going on with Mike Lynch. Never heard of him, but yeah, I think he shed some light on a pretty interesting story, and I'll be following it now.
What do you think, Victor?
Listen, I don't swim, okay?
Like, you don't know how, or?
I'm not a good swimmer. I swim like a rock.
You're like me.
If that shows you how well of a swimmer I am. So I avoid these situations, if I'm on a boat in the open water, I'm probably just going to wear a life vest all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I mean, you'd feel safe on a super yacht, right? If I was on Bezos' yacht, I would feel safe. Because he's got a fucking helicopter, right? So if anything happens, just helicopter yourself out of there. It's sad what happened to these people. I think the whole crew is going to be like thinking about getting different jobs.
It was the captain, it was the engineer, the chef, the 22-year-old, and like 3 hostesses.
What do you need 3 hostesses for?
There's a lot of plants.
There are all these people.
Hire the Bayesian super yacht crew. We guarantee to survive.
Wait a minute. Did any of the plants survive the sinking?
Who knows?
We don't know.
Probably not.
We don't know. I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of mysteries. I don't know what's going on. There's still a lot of, investigations are pending. I don't think there was any foul play, but crazy. Even yachts aren't safe in today's age.
So as we close today's episode, we reflect on how the Beijing super yacht tragedy highlights the delicate balance between luxury and safety, power and vulnerability. As the investigation continues, we hope that lessons will be learned to prevent similar tragedies in the future. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that follow button, spread the word of this amazing podcast you discovered. We want you to be an active part of our community. Whether you have questions, suggestions, or just want to share your thoughts on our topics, we want to hear from you. Find us on Twitter at I'm Not Dumb But and on YouTube at I'm Not Dumb But Podcast. Until next time, stay curious.
Later.